is up, my Ammonites? It's your boy Yin Guy, and welcome back to the lab. Now, if you remember the last time I created the creature that is very capable of flying and breathing fire, you all know this monster as the Abaddon Dragon. But being a little bit creative as I am, and also finding it intriguing as to what would happen if I was to make it much smaller, more nimble in the air, faster, and also capable of moving through dense vegetation and other very small areas while staying in maintain power flight. And also having the much better stamina. Well, this would be where I actually introduce you to what I've actually named the Dragon Raptor, or the Dracoraptor. A flying, agile, high stamina, powerful, but small, predatory assassin from the air. This creature will be about 5 feet tall, about 15 feet long, but actually have a 15-foot wingspan for its primary wings, but also have an 8-foot wingspan for its back legs. Yes, I said back legs. You see, the legs on this creature actually double function as secondary pair of wings, but they are not the primary source of powered flight. That would be the primary wings that you see right about here. But the secondary wings would be more like stability and also holding the primary weapons of killing, which would be the talons. And of course it also has the venomous bite and breath attack, but we will get to those weapons a little bit later. But, all in all size, the tail feather span would be about 3 feet long, so it's got very good surface area. But I would not expect it to be anywhere between 100 to 200 pounds. I don't want it to be too heavy. But it is actually capable of being such heavyweight thanks to one of 3 base genomes. The main body, of course, I have chosen is the Changyuraptor, which is actually a close relative of the Microraptor, but much bigger and also capable of powered flight. I've also chosen the haast eagle for the talons and powerful leg strength, but the most critical of all traits that I have chosen for the base is the argentavis, the giant vulture that I'm sure many of you are very familiar with, being the largest and heaviest bird to ever soar the skies. Some actually estimate that the argentavis, it can have weights of up to 300 pounds and having 26 to 27 foot wingspan. This is actually a bit smaller, but still packs a deadlier punch with the talons, razor-sharp teeth, and the various secret weapons. Having 4 wings actually gives the advantage to the Dracoraptor, allowing it to fly in areas where similar flyers of its size range would not be able to access, allowing it to fly in both open spaces and in dense areas like forests and ruined cities. Unlike birds of today, where the legs are tucked in underneath their bellies, the Dracoraptor's legs would instead have its legs tucked to the side, allowing it to function as balancing wings, allowing it to fly while simultaneously being able to deploy its talons, conversely similar to eagles. And I am actually starting with a bite with a sinonithosaurus, which is also a distant relative of the Microraptor. But this flying dinosaur, yes, I'm fully aware it is actually a dinosaur, and no, it is not a pterosaur. I have chosen this one because not only is it also capable of either flying or high gliding, it also has a venomous bite very similar to the Komodo dragon. So if it bites anything, it would actually cause it to bleed out, making it a very deadly form of tracking. But there comes the brains that I have also chosen. I mean, of course I could have easily went with the American crow, and I actually thought about it, but some of you guys actually said that the American crow is a lot more skittish, so I kind of wanted to have a bit more boldness to its attitude. So I have chosen the Australian magpie. Yes, that crow that you see that is pecking everybody's face off in the land down under. Because the Australian magpie is in the same family as the American crow, and also incredibly intelligent, and also sociable, even able to unlock its own tracking pendants, use various special skills to problem solve, and especially during breeding season, is extremely aggressive. Meaning it will attack just about anyone or anything, even something that is 10 to 100 times its own size. And that's the kind of attitude that I want to bring with my dragon raptor. But this intelligence can not only be greatly enhanced in a specific way, it would actually be very well specialized in fire. I've already mentioned the bombardier beetle as well as the spinning cobra, but that alone would not make it a very effective fire breather. For the intelligence that I have chosen would be another bird from Australia. But this raptor is called the Australian Firehawk, commonly known specifically as the black krait. Even though it actually isn't known to breathe fire, or actually specified to actually have fire-resistant feathers, this bird of prey is especially known to use burning sticks and coals to start fires, dropping it in dry areas, specifically to start fires to root out various small prey such as rodents and small reptiles. Using this level of intelligence in the Dracoraptor would allow it to drive out even the most stubborn and well-hidden of targets, effectively using fire as its most dangerous weapon. But how will I be able to fly through dense areas like cities or even open forests? That is where I have chosen the goshawk. Being extremely agile and able to react to flying through dense areas, this would allow it to be able to fly, catch itself mid-flight, dodge trees, branches, leaves, and various other obstacles while on the wing. And I have also chosen the haars hawk, making it a very social predator, like it isn't already thanks to the Australian magpie. But I wanted it to specifically hunt in packs from the haars hawk because that gives it a bit more coordination in attacking large game. And of course, I mentioned that there is a secret weapon, so I have chosen, as usual, I'm sure you already know by now, the spinning cobra and the bombardier beetle. I know it seems a little annoying, but all the these various contributors, all of before that I have explained, the one thing they have all in common is that all of these birds and the dinosaurs that I have chosen all have third eyelids. So there's guaranteed protection against its own fiery breath. These third eyelids would actually have the same color and transparency as sunglasses, functioning similarly to a welder's helmet, protecting it against its own blast, as well as the glare of the intense sun. And of course, the fangs themselves would be, instead of being a perfect 90-degree angle like the spitting cobra, the tubes of the venom from the fangs would actually angled in a 45-degree angle downward towards its belly, which would still allow it to have a good range, but it would further reduce the risk of any potential chemicals, venom, and explosive fire that may pose a dangerous risk against the creature of its own weapon. The feathers of the Dracoraptor not only have the ability to protect itself against intense heat from the bombardier beetle, it would also possess the heat-resistant compounds of the volcano snail, allowing the Dracoraptor to be able to withstand temperatures as high as well over 700 degrees Fahrenheit. So a few short blasts from this dragon would certainly be not a very uncomfortable. It would even be able to fly a lot closer distances into direct flames. And the iron compounds can also be metallic deposits for both the fangs as well as the claws, further enhancing its ability to pierce through even the thickest of hides. And that aside, there's actually a lot of... That being aside, that's kind of the solution that I have to the problem. But I've also added sea krait and shrew, further enhancing its deadly venomous bite, thanks to the sea krait's potency of venom, and the shrew's razor-sharp metal teeth, and further enhanced higher metabolism, making the dragon raptor a much faster reactive flyer, able to dodge things faster and react to battle situations at quicker speeds. I mean, obviously it's not gonna fight at the same speed as a shrew, but being a natural bird of prey, it would already be able to catch anything as small as a shrew, thanks to its very high metabolism. But I also wanted to be able to have high stamina with all that, to balance out the shrew's high metabolism. So I have chosen the bar-tailed godwit. This tiny little bird may not be exactly dangerous, unlike the others I have chosen, but this tiny little bird is able to fly about 11 days straight, constantly flapping its wings non-stop for 11 days straight, flying over 8,000 miles all the way from the North Pole all the way down to Australia. That takes a lot of stamina, and combining that with the ability to soar from the haast eagle and argentavis, this thing can fly for weeks. It will be able to soar non-stop. This high flying ability is gonna be very, very long flight. Probably the best flight out of any creature on the planet. but I also wanted to give it some good eyesight, and so I have chosen the eagle owl. Not only is it capable of very good night vision, it also has very good sense of hearing, having asymmetrical ear holes that allow it to fly in stereo. It is capable of hearing things at very low frequencies, and even if it can't actually see directly at its prey in dark areas, it will still be able to hear very well, smell very well, thanks to the sea krait's forked tongue, and of course they also have the argentavis's great sense of smell, because remember, vulture DNA. Having that sense of hearing would give it a very deadly edge against any potential non-nocturnal combatants. So how will it be able to fare against anything like the Indoraptor or even the Indominus? Well, I've designed the Dracoraptor to be a very social pack-hunting predator, capable of being trained to attack just about anyone or anything that is deemed a target. Having that aggression and territorial instinct of the magpie would allow it to give it an edge to be aggressive, defending its various points and nesting areas like high cliffs, abandoned buildings, or even the tops of trees. So, let's take a look at a few battle scenarios, from small game to some of the biggest opponents it'll probably face. The high cliffs and the steep mountainsides have just welcomed a new king of the skies, of Isla Sorna. This individual is Drake. He is a Dracoraptor, genetically designed to dominate the skies in both open airspace and in the most crowded of airspaces, allowing him to weave through dense canopies as well as ruined cities alike. Taking to the open skies, Drake is now surveying his new kingdom. Drake, having already proved himself to be probably the most dangerous creature to soar the skies, even against the largest of pterosaurs, Drake has nothing to fear. Thanks to his keen intelligence, very agile flying capabilities, specialized weaponry from talons and venomous teeth, and also the secret weapon that no other creature in the skies can ever hope to compete against, his ability to breathe fire. Thanks to some of the best vision in the entire animal kingdom, Drake has spotted something on top of the ruins of a burned village, once containing massive pteranodons, now nothing more than a massive web of metal in between giant cliffs. There's a mutadon, perched at the very top, likely scavenging for small prey. A hybrid of the Indian velociraptors below, as well as an unidentified pterosaur, likely a plexa due to their wingspread size. Whichever the species that gives this mutant the ability to fly, it may be unknown. The only thing on Drake's mind after surveying this creature is it a rival, a potential threat to his territory? Or is it merely an easy prey? Drake moves in with a sniper's position, swooping down with talons at the ready. He closes in at well over 100 miles an hour. Down below, the mutadon, a winged raptor, is now surveying its surroundings, taking in the view of likely its territory. Thanks to the vacancy of the other pterosaurs, it is now making claim to new territory. At least, it would be. If it were even aware that there is a flying missile descending with open talons and weapons ready to strike at any second. Far above, Drake closes in at high speeds. And within inches of his target, he misses the mutadon. Caught by surprise, the mutadon lets out a loud scream, spreading wings wide, an intimidating display. But Drake is not deterred. Even though this would be intimidating, the problem is, he has taken on much bigger pterosaurs, like the Quetzalcoatlus, and has actually proven himself capable of taking on any flying pterosaur, and this flying raptor would most certainly be no different. Drake circles back for another strike with his talons, but this time the mutadon takes flight, dodging the aerial assailant's talons, taking to the open skies, where there would be much more even battlefield tactics. But the problem is, being a hybrid of the raptor, it does not have the gripping capabilities that Drake certainly has. Instead, relying on its beak and its piercing toe claw, its best chance would be either to flee for higher altitudes or find cover, which it takes to the air, climbing higher and higher. It hopes to swoop down with its piercing toe claw, hoping to pierce Drake in the vital organs. But Drake is much faster. He can attack from any angle, and there is one weapon that is simply unable to be countered. Drake closes in for a bite, but he is trying to dodge the kicking legs of the flying raptor, hoping to avoid that sickle claw. But such defensive maneuvers would cost the flying raptor its balance, making it lose altitude. But this is where Drake makes his decisive attacking blow. He sprays from above, the fiery breath attacking the wing membrane, leaving the flying raptor more vulnerable to gravity's merciless assault. He glides as gently as he can to more solid ground. Mutadon is now dealing with a unique, special kind of agony, having been severely burned by various burning chemicals produced by Drake's fiery breath. It hopes to land in dense forests, where it would actually have a better chance at running away, having suffered massive injuries to his wing. But this would be no deterrent for Drake. For now, this is where his display of aerial agility is at full display. Despite the mutadon running at a cheetah speed of 60 miles an hour, Drake is able to keep pace, dodging trees, branches, and leaves alike. Other obstacles seem like they are nothing. Drake flies through the forest like a phantom in the night. The mutadon is now terrified, running in hopes of getting away. It now finds itself at the edge of a cliff, trapped and forced to face his attacker. He raises his wings at an intimidating display, with teeth, beak, and claws at full display. his predator closes in for the kill. But Drake is employing a different strategy. Instead of going in for a direct kill, he is actually flying a circle back into the forest. He is flying and spraying at dry leaves and twigs, creating a burning circle within the forest, effectively creating a deadly trap for the mutadon. Now, the flying raptor, completely trapped with injured wings, is at the complete mercy of Drake's next deadly attack. Desperate to flee, but still writhing in agonizing pain, he jumps off the cliff, desperate to escape. But that is the opening that Drake has been waiting for. Whilst in midair, the mutadon is gliding downward, but dropping much faster. Drake moves in for the kill, talons grabbing at its back and delivering a venomous, iron-shredding bite to the back of the head, delivering a deadly poison. But then, he lets go, letting the mutadon plummet to his death, allowing Drake to gently float down to claim his prize. And that is the power of the dragon raptor. Sociable, dangerous, fast, agile, and possessing an unnatural stamina. Nowhere is safe in the sky. Hope you guys enjoyed this flying monster. It's not the biggest. It's probably the smallest hybrid I have created so far. But it's probably one of the deadliest. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, and you want to see more monsters and battle tactics, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, get lucky today, and stay tuned for more awesome monsters and epic battles of other corporations that want to challenge my bioweapons. And as always, I will see you at the next dive in the lab. Yen bye!